Hello and welcome inside the draft of the next game of StarLadder Season 6. It is day number 25 of the 27. So there's only 3 games included, 3 days including this one. Not 3 games because there's 8 games in total. Of course, for today I have co-casters and I have statsmans. Why I only have 1 statman. K-poptosis is here the entire day to provide you with all the inside information about the teams that you want to have, and he is here for this as well. You won't see him, you won't hear him, but you'll see what he does. And the one that you will hear, it is my co-caster, Vykromond. Welcome back.
Good to be back, Sheever. That was a crazy last game that we saw, and we're already well into the draft of this one, so let's jump right in. VP loves Naga Siren. No team likes Naga Siren as much as this team, and the really interesting thing with this return of Naga is VP plays her completely differently from how everybody else is playing her. So Naga has made it back into the North American metagame as a solo mid because of the lower goodness gracious, Riptide cooldown. But here, VP almost always uses her as a number 1. So they feel so strongly about this Naga Siren that they've been picking it up in these first 2 picks for Airman.
Yeah, and of course we know virtus.pro, they are a team that already has secured their spot to Kiev, but they still want to practice some strats perhaps that we haven't seen before, even though for now it looks pretty solid. They're up against zRage, a team that needs to win to still not get in the bottom 4 of StarLadder. So,
right.
Yeah, outfavored in terms of play, but the pressure on zRage is a lot higher than the pressure of virtus.pro, and that might be the deciding factor here. It's
the bottom 2 are relegated automatically, right? And
yes.
Then the 2 above that have to play to avoid relegation?
Yes.
Okay. And then so the one thing I was wondering about, I don't know if you know this, but so does QPad take up one of those 2 auto relegation slots? Okay. Okay. So only one team really is automatically relegated.
Correct. Right now zRage is sitting at number 13, and that is of course still not the place where you want to be. They've lost 8 games, won 3. And 3 wins is the lowest amount of wins that is there. So, for example, StarLadder, zRage, Power Rangers, they've all lost 3 games.
Oh, but I like all those teams.
Yes, me too. Well, we're gonna see if they get some more wins. All of those teams have still some games to play. As we have an Earthshaker picked up by zRage, they have got the Lifestealer now, the Shadow Demon, so that's a setup for those open wounds that you now can't initiate with anymore. So you have the Shadow Demon to set that up for him. You have the Magnus that can throw out his RP. Imagine RP followed up by Echo Slam. Brilliant. Sure. I like it. virtus.pro having Rubik and Visage as supports, Naga Siren as their carry. Could be aggressive tri lane with that Visage there. Nature's Prophet could be then safe lane solo, but they could also of course swap that around. virtus.pro needing their solo mid steal. Templar has a man out, and the Keeper of Light banned out by virtus.pro. In terms of heroes banned, well, you can see them. I'm not even going to go over them anymore. They draft fast.
They did draft pretty fast. Of course, the thing with taking Magnus as your 3rd pick is that you're not heading into a ban phase the way that you were. Yeah, I mean, you're just not heading into a ban phase. So VP manages to pick up Rubik. Yep. Probably, I assume, NS on Rubik, Arsard on Visage. And so that gives them the opportunity to steal things like Echo Slam, to steal things like Reverse Polarity, which could be a big deal in this fight. The other thing, of course, is that push. VP has a lot of it. zRage don't have that much to counter it. So they have Fissure that can block a creep advance, and it does quite a bit of damage. They have Shockwave to clear out creep waves, but I mean, once Naga Siren gets a little bit of farm and can use that mirror image, zRage are going to find themselves in a position where there's a lot of split push coming in. That's when they'll be really happy they have this Shadow Demon. So Shadow Demon is kind of a fascinating hero because everybody still loves him, but he's actually not having that great results. I believe his win rate over the last few weeks is something like 35%, which is actually fairly dismal. That said, he's a hero that brings so much to a team, and especially against an illusion-based hero like Naga Siren, that I think zRage felt like they didn't have that much of a choice.
Yeah, for people asking, I did just link, well, 2 minutes ago, link the stand-ins for the tournaments in the chat so people can see where people are. We are going to see a Storm Spirit here by virtus.pro, so that's providing them some extra mid-game aggression and a lot of global aggression as well, as Nature's Prophet can of course TP something, and even though Storm Spirit not necessarily global, he can just jump out of nowhere and have Nature's Prophet TPing into him as well. All of a sudden, there's going to be 2 heroes next to you. You're going to be in some trouble, and might be already more than 2, as you might be already up against 1 before that. So that's going to be something that zRage has to take into account. Skywrath Mage will be their hero of choice, and that is not a support Skywrath Mage. Or is it? Yes, it is! Look at that! Sharpik picks up the Shadow Demon. That means Shadow Demon solo mid?
That It certainly is what it looks like. I doubt that they're switching to having Sharfik on a support, although... I don't know. We've seen Earthshaker solo lane before, but it really doesn't work especially well, frankly. But then again, Hakan is their solo lane player, so we could see the Magnus mid, Skywrath Shadow Demon support, and Earthshaker solo lane, especially if they run the aggressive.
Yeah, it might be difficult to really say what they're going to do because they do have a stand-in. They have Wins as their stand-in, and normally when you have a stand-in, you don't just say like you're going to play this. You ask, what do you normally play? What's your strength? So you can allow him to play a hero that he's actually comfortable with, and that might switch up the roles a bit for the rest of the team as well.
This is zRage. Aren't they the team that put somebody on solo mid sniper as a stand-in?
Yes, they were the team that put a No, that was actually Oslick Gaming.
Oh, that was Oslick. You're right, my bad.
Yeah, but some certain things do happen. By the way, spoiler alert, if you want to see the game that was the sniper solo mid, better close your ears for a second, because that sniper solo mid ended up winning the game. Just
it was,
saying.
what, 16-5 or something?
Yeah.
It was pretty legit. So, the cool thing about this Earthshaker is, if he gets Blink Dagger, I mean, it's not a PL, but Naga Siren does generate 4 illusions, or sorry, I should say 3 illusions, and possibly more with Manta Style, which virtus.pro do like getting Manta Style on that Naga Siren. If she does that, and the Earthshaker has farmed up a Blink by that point, it's really, really scary, because Echo Slam is just going to devastate VP if Earthshaker jumps into the middle of a bunch of Naga illusions.
Yeah. Illusions, of course, counting as heroes since the last patch, so he got a bit of a buff there.
He did. Specifically against illusion-based heroes.
Yes, maybe more specifically, Phantom Lancer comes to mind. Just to have something extra to throw up against him, just in case. But yeah, let's see who's playing what. We still, of course, have the captain of virtus.pro, and Ness not being here just yet. But that is okay. He will be playing the Visage for his team, so virtus.pro will be on the Dire side. KSI will be playing the Nature's Prophet. Tamar Wild on the Storm Spirit. Raven S, who is actually Arsart or Smile, will be playing the Rubik for his team, and Illidan Airman Stormrage playing the Naga Siren. And that is actually Illidan's most popular hero. The 5th time in 3 days he plays there right now, so he's going to be pretty happy with that if he likes to play here, which we're going to assume that he does. Because he plays it a lot.
Yeah, VP, I mean, they take this almost every time, and it's on Illidan every time. It is a great hero, frankly. Just, she did get nerfed, her base damage got substantially nerfed, but you can see they pull him 2 sets of regen so he can get the Poor Man's and the Iron Branch. And the 10-second Riptide is a great, frankly, it's a great combo. It deals so much damage if you can use it twice that it's almost 2 good soul assumptions for Visage. And we might see a clash. zRage, of course, bringing their entire team into the jungle. Inquisitor on the Lifestealer, Wins the stand-in on the Magnus, Hakan on the Earthshaker, Medved on the Skywrath Mage, and... who am I missing? Sharfik on the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, look at how aggressive virtus.pro already is. They're really looking for something. And Airman, he is like at the front row while he doesn't even have his net to set something up, but just scaring everybody of zRage out of the jungle. We do, of course, have the vote up, so you can !vote in the Twitch chat. Either capital letter V or capital letter P behind that vote, or zRage, with the R being the capital and the Z being small, so it's case sensitive. Make sure you take that into account. !vote, and then the team name of your choice, who you think will win, of course, already now knowing what the draft is like, and already now knowing that Inquisitor will indeed be on the trial lane with the support Skywrath Mage, and it looks like also support Earthshaker. Off lane, Magnus, and Sharfik solo mid Shadow Demon. Solo mid Shadow Demon!
Solo mid Shadow Demon. I mean, if they know, and they do know that this is going to be an aggressive try from VP, then the Magnus is perfectly fine facing off in that 1v1 lane. It's not really that bad of a lane at all against the Nature's Prophet, frankly. One thing you don't have to worry about if you're laning against Nature's Prophet is that the Nature's Prophet jumps in and turns it into a 1v2, right? So he's okay in this lane. And solo mid Shadow Demon, I mean, it used to be a very real thing, and some teams still actually make use of it, so I don't think he's that disfavored against Storm Spirit, frankly.
No, especially not since the start of the lane for Storm Spirits is actually pretty crucial. He needs to get that level 6. Once he gets level 6, you can't kill him that easily anymore. And beforehand, Shadow Demon should actually be having a bit of the upper hand in terms of harassment. The only downside is that Shadow Demon got a bit nerfed, so you don't see your opponent anymore. Oh, Fissure. It's just defensive Fissure, thank you. So you don't really see your opponent anymore when you have Shadow Poison stacked up on him. And that might be something that hurts him, but we'll see.
Definitely.
He does have that illusion helping out with extra vision there, I guess. Sharvik actually the one that gets harassed most here for now.
Yeah. Skywrath. I actually kind of like the Skywrath here. We've talked before on the stream about how he doesn't have that great of a win rate from the support, except of course when virtus.pro plays him.
Yeah.
But one neat thing about Skywrath in this lane is that he can really limit the amount of damage that VP can do. If you Ancient Seal the Visage fairly early in the fight, or right when all the damage is being thrown out, then you're not going to get those soul assumptions raining down on your head, and you'll feel a lot better about that engagement.
Yeah, the only awkward thing here is that normally when we see a Skywrath Mage as a support, he picks up his Concussive Shot to slow and his Ancient Seal to silence because he doesn't really do that much damage with his Arcane Bolt anyway. But right now he went from level 1 Arcane Bolt.
Middle.
Oh, there goes 4 stacks of stick. Oh, 4
One
stacks.
more, he might get it.
He gets 5, it gets a kill. Nicely done.
He needed that 5th one. That's actually incredibly sick. That's some Wodota stuff. The 5th, people have been confused about this on Twitch before. I would just really want to say, just to know, the 5th doesn't double the damage, but it does add 1 additional stack at the 4 damage. So every subsequent stack you get past 4 actually is still a big deal. It's just not as big as the 4th is.
Yeah, and he got that, so gets the first blood, therefore gets the experience, gets ahead from the Storm Spirit, and that's something that you have to continue doing, of course. Shutting that Storm Spirit down will make sure that he in the mid game will not have as big of an impact that he normally would have, and that's a really big thing to have here right now, because Inquisitor will need a bit of time to get up to speed here, especially since he can't really get anything done on the bottom lane. He actually only has 1 last hit so far.
Yeah. Definitely not good shape as far as that goes, and they just don't feel that confident, especially because, I mean, you correctly noted, this Arcane Bolt first gives them no defensibility, it just gives them damage. I don't know if I'd go as far as to call it a serious mistake, but certainly not having the Arcane Seal or the Concussive Shot is what's making Inquisitor have to be so passive in this lane.
Yeah, he can't rely on a save from his team. Of course, there will still be a disruption. Oh no, there won't be a disruption. There will still be a Fissure to help out. But that alone is not enough if you know that the Soul Assumption can, you know, travel across that stone wall. We do have a smoke off coming up from Hakon and Medved though, looking for something, maybe going mid again as well. I say again, but I mean just to try and kill off, of course, Tema Wild again. But for now they're rotating top, will be helping Wins getting some levels. I mean, Shadow Demon is great in the early to mid-ish game, but after that he really has to rotate back into a support because he's not a semi-carry by any stretch. So they need to have at some point have something that like takes it over from Sharvik. Sharvik has a domination early, then you have, for example, the Magnus takes domination mid, and then Inquisitor comes in and dominates late game.
Absolutely. I mean, Shadow Demon, he's not so different from something like a Puck or a Magnus where Arcane Boots Blink is fantastic. Blink is actually great for Shadow Demon, it's just that they so rarely can get it. And it's good for Shadow Demon to be ahead on levels if you can, because he's so frail, his HP is so incredibly low, that it's only when ahead on levels that he has good survivability. The issue is, now that they've rotated these 2 supports, I don't see how they keep this tier 1 tower up for much longer.
No, they're already going for it, and Inquisitor still has only that 1 last hit, so we actually have KSI TPing in here. In the meantime, it looks like that Storm might be in a bit of trouble again with the Soulcatcher on there. Only 2 stacks now, though, of Shadow Poison. And no supports there, because the supports actually, one of them rotated back. We have got Hakon rotating back, but, I mean, they just have to abandon this tower altogether.
Yeah. I mean, they bring the heroes up, but the Nature's Prophet just leaves. Now he can actually jungle if he wants to.
Yeah, we have got 82 to 18 in favor of virtus.pro in terms of percentages for the vote, so yeah, pretty one-sided, I'd say. I mean, on paper, doesn't lie that much, so virtus.pro is still, of course, very much ahead, and they already show their dominance here. I mean, okay, yes, they're kind of winning mid lane, but winning a lane with your Shadow Demon has a lot less value than winning a lane, for example, with a Lifestealer on it, or with your Magnus on it. Magnus is level 5. They are able to get it for a bit, go for a bit of a push on the top lane as well. But in the meantime, virtus.pro already takes a tier 2 tower, and they're actually not looking like they're gonna stop.
Yeah, and Inquisitor, he's at his tier 3 right now, and he still doesn't feel safe last hitting. I'm not saying this is wrong. He's completely right. It's not safe to last hit, but if your Lifestealer is 1-in-1 at 6 minutes, and they're pressuring your tier 3 tower, that's cause for concern, and getting a tier 1 on the top doesn't really make up for it.
Yeah, here comes the Magnus that is not level 6 yet, so can't really do anything, and everybody over virtus.pro just backs off, rightfully so. got a bit of damage on that tier 3, and just showed their might and pushing power. And if they take all the outer towers, like they already took 2 towers right now. Of course, one was taken in return, but that's a lot of extra gold that you gain. Kind of means that the Storm Spirit just got level 6, not really behind in terms of gold anymore, mostly levels now compared to that Shadow Demon. And I mean, that is actually pretty dangerous for virtus.pro, because Tameawell can just do his thing right now. He has got a level 6, he won't be going down anytime soon anymore, purely because of that level 6. And virtus.pro, looking solid. zRage, they need to do something. They need to create space for that lifestealer to actually get something right now.
Yeah, I mean, this level 4 Naga, like, honestly, VP's lineup is just very strong to push very early. And we were talking earlier about how zRage don't really have the anti-push. It turns out they don't really even have the anti-push to handle it very, very early on. Because if Naga just uses Mirror Image and spams Riptide to clear the incoming creep waves, that's a lot of guaranteed tower damage, basically, that you have to rotate people to do. And they didn't feel comfortable rotating their entire team for that push, which they don't have a jungle anymore. They can write off this jungle completely. It's VPs now.
Yep. And they can't go into VP's jungle now either, because we still have Illidan sitting there on the top lane. And to be fair, it's a bit too early to start rotating there, because you need to carry TP scrolls and such. And for example, Inquisitor, he can't really spare that gold right now. He needs all that he can get. Oh my god, they will be able to find an S though. Fissure going through. RP is there, not used though, but that was... And the Concussive Shot and the Silence helping out. Those are the 2 spells that we would expect to see from Medved at level 1.
Yeah.
But they are able to get 1 kill with that Fissure, of course, helping out a lot there. I mean, zRage got the 2 kills on the map. It's 2-0. But virtus.pro, yeah, still looking pretty okay.
That was a cool Fissure, by the way. He got it all the way from right from the top of the stairs to the tree line. And before this patch, actually, that wouldn't cover the entire length. There would be a 1 person's width of area that you could walk through. But now you can't, so that's cool.
Yeah, of course, another bit of buff that Earthshaker got, as Sharvik is going to try to contest the rune. I'm not real sure why he thinks that he can do that up against Tameawell that has a haste rune there, but...
I don't know.
Oh well. They continue rotating though. They want to try to make their jungle secure, rightfully so. They need to create space for Inquisitor, and creating their own jungle to be a secure farming environment is, of course, part 1 of that battle plan. But everybody of virtus.pro being very careful. In the meantime, on the top lane, we have got Wins again. He still hasn't used his RP, sitting top by himself, up against Airman as well as an S. And of course, you can count the Nature's Prophet in here as well, because he'll be sure to TP in when he realizes that that's a push going on, and he can help out there.
Right. I mean, Wins hasn't done poorly. He has pretty good farm, considering 34 last hits, perfectly reasonable. He's got his arcane boots, didn't get pressured that heavily. The thing is, yeah, they need something to happen. The status quo is not okay for zRage. Sure, they're getting kills, and sure, they're a little bit ahead of XP just because Sharvik has been camping this lane, but they're going to get pushed pretty hard, and I feel like they don't feel in control of the pace of the game, and that's absolutely true.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for Tameawell to maybe do something more aggressive and maybe try to go for kills as well, because that's what a Storm Spirit overall would do around this time of the game, trying to find those pickoffs. They do find another tier 1 tower, so more gold going away of virtus.pro, and I don't think they're going to be sad with that either. But Tameawell not really doing anything just yet. At the same time, zRage though, seemingly rotating, trying to find something. Well, I think they should just try to focus on getting Inquisitor farm.
Yeah, they tried to get the tier 1 bottom, but that's the thing. They not only don't have great anti-push, they have next to no actual tower clearing ability. It's gonna, especially with Lifestealer, he's with the entire team. He has power treads and a tiny part of an armlet, like the first step towards an armlet. But that's not, that Lifestealer is not going to kill towers quickly. If they get Tameawell here, maybe, but he should be able to
yeah, Ball Lightning should still be there. Ancient Steel and Fissure are not there in time. Rune went bottom, by the way, it's an invisibility. That's why we, of course, saw both of those players going towards that same spot. Trying to get lucky with the rune. In the end, I think Tameawell will still be able to get there. I mean, there's no ward vision for either team there, and zRage only has 1 ward up in general. 2 wards up for virtus.pro, though, covering that zRage's jungle.
Covering the jungle, yeah. Yep. It's very smart. VP at this point, I think they'll be happy, now that they've cleared out so many outer towers, the only one that they'd want is maybe the tier 1 mid, but you can see that zRage definitely doesn't want to lose that tier 1 mid. They actually want to get this tower. I think VP might maybe even let them have this, because they really want level 6 for Arsard, I feel. Sorry, for whoever the heck's on Visage, NS.
Well, they do have some people TPing in. They would be fighting up against an RP though, but NS is also on his way. He is not level 6 yet, indeed, no bird, so can't really help with that. Fortification gets used. But I think they're gonna have to accept losing the tower. They might try to get the deny, won't be able to get it though. That's gonna be Inquisitor with the gold. Demonic Purge up on our star. Telekinesis there, Fisher though, and that's gonna be a kill going the way of zRage. Team and Wild in some trouble. Here comes a song. Song already cancelled. There comes ZRP. It is hits on two. Illidan trying to do what he can. Win Z goes down. 2 dead on the side of zRage. They're trying to run right now with virtus.pro trying to get some kills. Nice Fisher again though, allows for a nest to go down. They will still take the Shadow Demon. Triple kill going the way of Airman. He got all the kills that they just did, and they only got 2 in return, 2 supports.
Yeah, and VP actually very... Oh, they keep... Wow, the net! I can't believe it's not going. There we go.
There we go. And the Fisher trying to help out a bit, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Oh, Inquisitor tries to eat his way through. Might be able to eat up Tame of Wild. The silence is there, and Tame of Wild ends up going down. Inquisitor as well, though, but at least he gets something in return for that one.
Sure, it's great to get that kill on Tame My Wild, considering, I mean, it's a level 8 target, it's certainly not bad to kill. But VP overall, just very smart timing. Oh, I think Arsart's dead here.
Yeah, walks right past the Mr.
Right into the flare. I mean, he only had one possible escape route, so it's fine.
In the meantime, though, triple kill for Airman. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it a quad kill? I mean, it didn't give the
Inquisitor, he killed Inquisitor as well in the end, yes.
Yeah. So, very good for Airman over. Wow, really? Feeding birds. Okay, they save 1. So, VP, I like the timing they chose to come into that fight, which was, don't try to save the tower unnecessarily, just find good positioning for Tame My Wild and Illidan to dominate it. But this might be a little bit of trouble for the Naga Siren. Maybe not.
The disruption will be there. Here comes the Bolt Lightning though. Telekinesis as well. Sharfig will be paying for that one. Do have Hakon getting slowed down here as well. Getting slowed again and will go down. Nice Fisher still coming off from him, but not enough to do anything with it. And Tame My Wild will be able to run away with that as well. And that's another 2 kills going away for virtus.pro. And even though zRage was looking okay in terms of kills earlier on, it's now only 1 kill difference. And the map control, I would say, actually pretty even again. With the tier 1 tower top and middle gone instead of virtus.pro. It's just that virtus.pro still ahead.
And they took...
Yeah.
They took 2 free kills. Sharfik really just out of position, thinking that he could duel better than he could. And this is what you were talking about, Sheever. I mean, Shadow Demon, not a semi-carry. He can get way out ahead and just not kill his target because he doesn't have anything in the way of burst. All his damage is over time. And if you have somebody that wants to like jump in and start the fight, they generally need to be able to pick somebody off very quickly. And that's something that Shadow Demon is pretty much critically incapable of doing. It's one of the intentional limitations of the hero.
Yeah, in the meantime, Airman and his team make sure that map control goes their way again. They secure the Radiant jungle. We'll be farming there. We also have got Tame My Wild coming this way. It looks like zRage want to try to fight this though. They smoke up. They will be finding 4 sitting here from virtus.pro, so it's not going to be an easy fight. And I say 4, of course it can be 5. Nature's Prophet can just TP himself in at any time.
They have Song too.
Yeah, Inquisitor gonna find Tame My Wild first. Walks right past him. Soulcatcher only hits on creeps though. And there's the Song. They're gonna initiate on this.
They're gonna fight. Yeah. This is gonna be a big Riptide. My god.
Yeah, but the RP could also hit quite hard there. They're gonna go for that Airman. Oh, but that is indeed that big Riptide. It is the Magnus that already dies. Nice Echo Slam. They might be able to get the Naga Siren. They do end up taking him. A double kill going the way of NS. It's in the end a 2 versus 2 though. Tame My Wild going down there as well. NS trying to do what he can, gets a triple kill, goes down still as Hakon tries to fight, won't be able to. Birds and KSI chasing him down. The Inquisitor, last one alive for his team, getting stunned up, getting telekinesis, getting hit on, and doesn't have any infest to save his life. He has got a rage, will try to use it, but the bird is following him down, so that is not going to be something that can save him. He might try to deny himself to neutrals, but never mind that. That ends up to be a team wipe for zRage, even though I think zRage did a lot better than I thought they would.
They definitely did. They managed to pick off Tame My Wild incredibly quickly, which was one very important thing, and using the Echo Slam to ensure that they had enough stun to kill Airman. That said, still kind of getting outplayed in that fight overall. I think VP will be happy with that. Really nice use of, really good spell steal actually from Arsart there too. Inquisitor thought he could stay in the fight because, hey, if I quickly kill Rubik, who's low, I can then fight Nature's Prophet one-on-one. Unfortunately, Rubik had Infest, heals back up to full, and then Lifesteal has no hope. He just gets telekinesis, etc.
Yep. In the meantime, Roshan is being attempted here by virtus.pro. Treyon's already there, KSI teleporting in. I don't think zRage has any chance to fight this, even though they weren't able to use the RP on that fight, which was pretty big. I thought maybe if they get a good RP at the start, after that Song of the Siren is over, they might be able to get something done, something extra done. But yeah, Magnus, no hope for him. He's scored, but that's it. Blink now will try to help out, but I don't think they have any knowledge that this is going on. I mean,
oh no,
no vision
even if
whatsoever.
They did, yeah, even if they did, I wouldn't. Before Blink, it's not going to happen. Now that they have Blink, maybe, but obviously now it's too late.
Yeah, and zRage in a tough spot. I mean, how are they going to be fighting their way out of this one? Because late game, they don't really necessarily win late game. Lifestealer up against Naga Siren.
No, I would say they don't win late game. That said, I don't think it's hopeless for them yet. The Lifestealer Inquisitor is caught up to some extent. Still not great for him, considering he had one last hit at 7 minutes, but he's gotten a lot more since then. He has his armlet, he's building drums, and so good solid approach, and he's tied for the highest levels, so... Plus they have Blink on Magnus, so that can't be discounted, because another big RP could lead to another big team fight.
Yeah.
And I suspect the next goal is to try to keep Hakan alive for a couple of fights so he can get his Blink Dagger. And if you get those big Blink initiations, it matters how far behind you are, but it matters less than you'd think.
If they get everything going for them in terms of teamfight potential, and then Echo Slam, and then RP, maybe Mystic Flare for the low HP ones that are still there. Of course it gets split across targets, but doesn't really matter that much. Infest out, Shadow Poisons, and just slow and silence everybody that tries to run. I mean, they've got pretty good chase potential as well, so if they start winning a team fight and virtus.pro decides to back off, zRage should be able to pick off some extra targets there as well. So they have got the potential, they just need to have the execution like spot on, and that's of course something that virtus.pro is pretty good in disrupting, because Storm Spirit is pretty elusive in that way. We have got the Naga Siren song, not to forget. I mean, if they see them going in, they can just pop that song and run away without being chased down, obviously. You've got the Sprout, which is a pretty big deal, even though they can't clear out the trees with fissures and such, as that's an Aegis being burned, by the way. Kembo lighting himself away, though. Oh, no. I think Sharvik didn't... Oh, yeah. Well, not sure if he intended to disrupt himself, but oh well. He disrupted himself.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
He does have his Force Staff after one more creep kill, so... Meanwhile, VP, I don't know what they're probably just gonna push through to the tier 2 here, but they don't have the right lineup to do it. Oh, if they catch wins, that'll be a nice kill.
Yeah, it looks like they want to at least take the tower. The
Illidan's gonna barely get away.
Song used, get away.
Yeah. Nice timing. He's really good with that song. I mean, playing all that Naga Siren, like, he knows exactly how long to stay in the same place and then start moving, because of course it's 7 seconds, it's a very long period, and you don't have to immediately run, especially if you're covering other people's retreat. And that's something I see Illidan always doing correctly, is he always knows where to put the song and how long to spend staying and how long to spend running.
Yeah, because even a couple of seconds, it means that your entire enemy team is just stuck in position,
Absolutely.
while your team can get something in return on the map. They got a tier 2 tower, I don't think that zRage would have been able to defend it regardless, but those couple of extra seconds might just have done the job.
I think they could have at least tried TPing. Maybe if they lose the tower, but they pick up one of the heroes afterwards, like maybe Visage dies as a result of that. So yeah, Song of the Siren, I mean, it's mostly known as a teamfight ability, but it can protect a push in another lane, and there's all sorts of neat stuff that you can do with this ability, even though everybody hates it.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's just a brilliant setup spell. It really punishes your opponent for just being slightly out of position, and instantly you get stuck on there, and your enemy team can just profit from it to the max, because they know they can position themselves properly for the fight as well. So yeah, really nice spell if you like it. In terms of what it brings to a cast, can be better.
It's the anti-hype.
It's the anti-hype. That it is. It can also be the like build-up hype, like it's the song and it starts some things up, but mostly it's being saved.
Yeah, if you wombo, that's... But we haven't really seen that big wombo lineups. VP sometimes runs Darkseer, which increases the wombo potential a little bit, but of course, it's been a while since that nerf. You used to be able to vacuum people under Song of the Siren, which was ludicrous. Actually, I don't think TMI Wild can get to this fight. He's still trying to build BKB, so this might not be the easiest fight for VP if they try to engage here.
Well, the Riptides, nice wow, yeah, the burst stunning. Look at the Inquisitor. Now they can't even hope to take a fight. Now with that Riptide on, and maybe Airman looks to still pick up someone. The net is of course there, but there's so many people around, they can't really hope to pick someone off before the rest comes in to try and save that guy. Especially not when there's the disruption on the board as well, and it looks like they are being forced out, but that's exactly that. They're being forced out of their own jungle.
Team of 5, forced out by 3 people?
Yes.
I mean, VP have hit so many items too. Like, we haven't even talked about it that much, but Blink on Rubik came extremely quickly. I mean, Arsark got that super fast Blink, and that's extremely helpful against a team that has highly consequential ultimates. My Wild will have BKB. He's just jungling for his BKB. This is a huge pickup. Usually, BKB is sometimes considered a sign of weakness on Storm Spirit, and to be fair, he has 3 deaths, but it'll improve his survivability so much, especially against Ancient Seal.
Yep. You don't want to get silenced, you want to just be able to do what you do, which is jump around a fight and have all your charges up constantly and, you know, use spells, but you're silenced. You can't do that and you'll get picked up very fast, so BKB really needed for him. In the meantime, the gold graph and experience graph heavily in favor of virtus.pro, 12k on the gold, almost 12k on the experience as well. Wow.
That is an awesome stat. Well, good for him.
The only life stealer to have 1 last hit or less at 5 minutes.
Yeah, I guess my question would be, how big is the data set for this? How many life stealers have had less than 1 last hit in a competitive match at the 5-minute mark? Because it was like a perfect storm.
Fate Bolt as well. He still has that rage, but he's patiently waiting. They don't bait it out in the end.
Yeah. Next time he gets a Fade Bolt, though, check out how low his damage is when Armlet's not active and he just gets Fade Bolted. It's because of that slow start, this Lifestealer, like, the Rubik is almost acting Bane-ish in the sense that he reduces the damage by a lot.
Yeah, Rubik is the same level as Inquisitor as well.
Exactly.
Oh, slow silence up on an S, but those birds doing a good job in trying to prevent people from going in.
Fisher!
From the low ground, brilliantly placed. An S, we've seen this before. The storm comes in, but the rage is still there. It's not enough to take him down, though. And Inquisitor's rage will run out before an S goes down.
Yeah, mech usage critical to keep NS alive there. Yeah. That was an amazing Fissure, actually. That's, again, the 1300, the complete block off from the low ground.
Yep. And same person there also, although this time he doesn't die. Oh, yeah. Oh, Medved might be in some trouble. I'm not sure if he realizes this, but oh, hello. Now he realized that the silence will still be there. In the meantime, in for the slow siege, because the tier 3 tower is going to be finding harassment constantly from illusions coming in.
It's actually really low at this point. It's down to 287, and Crazy, My Wild, actually has his BKB down, so it's being delivered. This will make VP feel a lot more confident. They also, if they want to, this is the problem when you just have complete map control. zRage can't set, like, they can't do much proactive. The best they can hope for is a very, very fast smoke gang. Yeah. They don't actually have any time to, like, look around for VP because they'll lose their tier 3. It has to be a smoke gang where they know exactly where VP is. VP, meanwhile, they can wait for Roshan if they even want to.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping also that Airman goes for that Manta style to just have those illusions.
What?
Pushing out. What?
Just happened. He accidentally pressed the R key.
Ooh.
Oh, he was trying to level it. That's like the 3rd time we've seen that. Volvo.
Oh, what?
Volvo, please fix. So this happens sometimes. You try to level your ultimate level 2 and instead you use it. VP heard that. Yeah, they heard that. Now they know they can high ground. Oh, that's... Oh, man. Don't be too harsh on the stand-in, folks. that happens to the best of pro players sometimes.
Is it a bug or did he just mispress?
No, it's not a bug. It's just if you don't press the what do I want to level up key, and then you press, like, you know how it's like OR? Yeah. If you miss the O key, you just use R.
Yeah? Why would you miss the O key?
I don't know, but it happens, man.
Okay.
You're being way less charitable than I am here. It happens, okay? We've actually seen it before in this season of StarLadder. I can't remember who it was, but it's always unfortunate. It is
definitely.
I mean, it loses them a tower, basically.
Yeah, kind of like from virtus.pro that they end up not going in for it. I think that's kind of a good doer team there, because they could have without that RP. It's a one big team fight ability from zRage.
Actually, they're smoking up. They want to chase.
Yeah, disruption will be there. Team of Wild, Soul Catcher there as well. This is silence in time is the question, though. BKB up on Team of Wild. He's actually looking to go in. Telekinesis Inquisitor to the other side of the fissure with you. He finds Team of Wild, ball lightning away. Mechanism help keeping him alive. The burst, though, at least one getting picked off. New burst summon. That's a lot of damage. Inquisitor jumps himself into the out TPing Haycon. We still have Medved TPing out, but Lifestealer safe inside the base. He jumped himself in right as Hakon TP'd himself out. In the meantime though, tier 3 tower and melee Rex taking a lot of damage here on this bottom lane. That's of course Illidan for you. Skewer back. No RP there for another 5 seconds. There is an Echo Slam already though. It is Illidan that still goes down. Hakon goes down now as well. Vortex up on Sharpik. Only Magnus alive by his little lonesome because he bought back. But there's 4 heroes here of virtus.pro, and even though they do not have the pushing potential of the Naga Siren.
Big
oh wow. Buybacks for everybody. RP up on just one lonesome support. Rubik Scooter is on cooldown. Now all of a sudden, Win 7 on a lot of trouble. Will end up dropping after buying back. That's pretty painful. Fisher tries to delay the pushing coming from Ines. Still has a soul assumption killed up on Sharpik. Still have the trainers going for the Rex. Melee Rex will end up going down because of that. Birds, of course, from Ines doing a lot of damage there with their 7 stacks still on at the start. And, well, virtus.pro, not really as successful as dominating in the team fight that I think, but that's zRage losing the team fight pretty convincingly, yeah.
Yeah, and they almost clear out the top tier 3 tower, and now you have a Blink Dagger Rubik who is holding RP.
Oh.
If they try to pursue this too heavily, these are really nice plays from Hakon, actually. He's had a great Earthshaker game. The Force Staff for Sharpik has done work as well. It's given them several favorable initiations. But, they're getting pushed to death completely.
Yeah, the tier 3 towers, mid as well as top, are indeed very low on life already. And even though Ines went down, he still has his birds, which is a pretty big part of the hero, obviously, so it's not that sad that he died. Something lives on from him. Oh my god, I said that. Yes, I did. So, a lot of buybacks used. zRage not getting out of it what they wanted to. Be that because they were kind of trigger happy with that RP, which I kind of think was the case. Or just virtus.pro just dominating regardless, as Hakon will end up going down in the mid lane. Still. I mean, this is like open playground right now for virtus.pro to go in again. And they will actually also pick up Sharpik here. Telekinesis there, and no hope for him to get out. KSI dominating right now with the Hex as well. Vortex up on Visitor. He was outside of his base. He's gonna regret that. And that's 3 on the sidelines with no buybacks, with 2 heroes left alive. One that needs... he has an RP, but he needs more people to be there to help kill off those targets. And the other one is also just a support, so... not favorable, and I'm actually thinking this is the last and final pushing that virtus.pro have to do here.
Yeah, I mean, what can they do? No buyback for Lifestealer, no buyback even for Shadow Demon, I think. He used it. I mean, they bought back their entire team to try to defend the tier 3 bottom. It didn't happen. And, I mean, Arsart actually still holding onto this RP. Yeah, there we go.
My god, gets an Echo Slam out before he dies, though. But, yeah. And that's a Magnus, tried to go in for an RP. Gets killed off before he can do anything. This is pretty over. zRage.
Oh, it's over.
Very valiantly not calling the GG because they have hope. But I think that it might be futile. Oh, maybe they want to still kill off Arsart. They do still kill off Arsart. Way to go, Inquisitor. Yes, almost got a basher. But
after he bought back and bought Boots of Travel, I mean, that's... Rubik had money to buy back, buy a Boots of Travel.
Double kill for Inquisitor still.
Yeah, I mean, Inquisitor, honestly, after having one of the hardest lanes you could possibly have, because both of the supports leave, and they were already losing the lane.
Yep.
And he honestly came back to do okay. So, some good plays from zRage here, but some just questionable. They couldn't really involve the mag enough. Like, they didn't get the big RPs that they were probably wanting. Sharpik, the SD, did very, very well early on, but then he just sort of hit the brick wall that you sometimes hit with Shadow Demon because, as you pointed out, Sheever, he doesn't really scale. And they had some great fissures, but just they couldn't put it all together, and especially with how behind the Lifestealer their only physical damage source was, there was almost no way that they could drag themselves back into the game and not just get split pushed to death, which is basically what happened.
Indeed, so we are going to see another game for StarLadder, a game that a lot of people have been waiting for because KP, indeed, will be taking on Na'Vi in the next game. Na'Vi will be having 2 games in a row of the 3 games that they have today. First, they're going to be up against KP, after that up against Mouseport, so stick around for more Dota 2 action for StarLadder. It is day number 25, and we'll see a total of 8 games today. This was game number 2, so we'll jump ourselves to game number 3 of today and see who takes the win there. KP have a very high chance to still go to Kiev. They need to win, though. They are actually on par, exactly on par with Mouseport, who's going to face Na'Vi afterwards. So both of the games are going to be very important for the teams that are facing Na'Vi. Na'Vi doesn't care about it because Na'Vi will be in China by the time that the LAN finals are there. But we'll see how they do, and we'll see that in just a moment. So stick around for more Dota 2 action brought to you by us. Of course, Vykromond, this was actually your last match for today. So you can, like, any shoutouts, plugins, etc.?
Yeah, sure. So thank you so much, Sheever, once again for letting me on your stream, doing a little bit of co-casting. Sorry that I can't do any more today. I have a 4-hour meeting and then 2 1-hour meetings.
Yay.
But, you know, I'll be back to say hi later. So yeah, of course, thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for K-pop for doing the amazing stats. That Lifestealer stat was pretty amazing. Those high-level stats were good research. And then, of course, thank you to StarLadder, the admins, the casters. They do an absolutely fantastic job. And, of course, thanks to the viewers. I really appreciate all the feedback I get from you guys, everybody watching in Dota TV. I have the chance sometimes to talk to you, everybody in Twitch TV. I have a belated Twitch viewer shout-out because I didn't get a shout-out. I forgot to shout-out yesterday, but Revived TV had a pretty cool hamburger recipe that I'm actually going to try today. So, thanks so much, and good luck with the rest of the day, Sheever, and I hope everybody enjoys the fantastic games that are coming up.
Yeah, and of course I will not be alone for the rest of the games either. I will be together with Kanaz, who will be co-casting for the rest of the day. And yeah, stick around, because there are some really good games coming.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be like putting them up on my phone and secretly checking them.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. So yeah, thank you for being here, Vykromond, and to all the viewers, I'll see you in just a moment.